everyone. The face of Cuyahoga County government will change with the November election. A county executive and 11 county council members will manage and direct the future of local government. News Channel 5 is committed to informing and educating voters about county reform. We begin today's forum with a look at how we got here and where we go from here. The seeds of change in how Cuyahoga County will govern itself were sown many years ago, but they were almost unnoticed for a long while. But then came shouts of alleged county corruption in 2008.
I would never do anything to hurt our great county and the great people that live in Cuyahoga County.
Embattled Cuyahoga County Commissioner Jimmy DeMora made those comments in 2008, days after the FBI raided his office and home. The raid began the largest public corruption probe in state history. County Auditor Frank Russo was also targeted.
The search warrant served upon my office in my home yesterday was a complete surprise to me.
Herein grew a groundswell for change in Cuyahoga County government. By 2009, there was a clamor for change. So much so, it gave birth to 2 reform issues which were put on the ballot for voters to decide upon. County Commissioner Peter Lawson-Jones pushed for Issue 5. Parma Heights Mayor Martin Zanotti pushed for 6. 5 would create a panel to recommend the government structure for voters to consider. 6 called for an elected executive and 11-member council. Voters pushed toward Issue 6, which was the blueprint for county change. In this building is the Cuyahoga County seat of power. But the seat of power is about to change. Voters will elect a council for Cuyahoga County, and they will also elect an executive for the county. And the executive candidates will meet in a News Channel 5 forum. It is a process which began many months ago when shouts called for change in how Cuyahoga County would be governed. The voices were fueled by allegations of corruption. The voices pressed for the path Cuyahoga County would go into the future. There are 11 candidates running for county executive. All were invited to participate in today's forum. 8 of those responded. The candidates in alphabetical order are Republican Matt Dolan, former state lawmaker and attorney; Green Party member David Ellison, a Cleveland architect; Democrat and Lakewood Mayor Ed Fitzgerald; Democrat Terry Hamilton Brown, the former Opportunity Corridor project director; Independent Ken Lancey, a Gates Mills businessman; Independent and former Cuyahoga County Commissioner Tim McCormick; Independent Don Scipione, Cleveland businessman; and Republican Victor Voinovich, real estate developer. Good to have you all with us. I will ask a series of questions to each candidate in alphabetical order. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer the question. When time has expired, an electronic bell will sound. That's an indication the candidate needs to conclude his or her answer. So we begin now with question number 1, and that begins with Mr. Dolan. How will you restore trust, integrity, and efficiency to Cuyahoga County government?
Thank you, Leon. Thank you for hosting us this evening. First, it starts at the top with leadership. So I will restore it during my campaign as being a former state rep who resigned from his position so taxpayers wouldn't pay my salary while I seek another public office. It also starts at day 1. Issue an executive order to require ethics training for all county employees so that we don't think they're all corrupt, but there will be no more excuses that if you breach the public trust, you will be gone. I will not accept any money from county employees during my campaign or during when I serve as the executive. And we will look to understand what the core competencies of government are, and we will be as effective as we can to deliver the important services from human services to job creation so that the public can restore their faith in their public servants.
Okay. Our next question is, how do you restore trust, integrity, and efficiency to Cuyahoga County government? That is to Mr. David Ellison.
We'll conduct the business of Cuyahoga County in the open and with an inclusive process that brings everyone to the table that is concerned or has stake in the issues.
Any more you want to add to that? You've got a minute.
As people may know the Greens practice a form of agreement seeking that's not simple voting. We've been practicing consensus-based decision making for a long time. I think if Cuyahoga County has a better future, it'll be because we move together in this process of restructuring. I think the executive position is too hierarchical. I think that if there was ever a system that was set up to fail, it's this one. It puts too much responsibility on the executive. That's why when I take office, if the people of Cuyahoga County elect me, I will make it my job to bring the rest of the county, the municipalities, and everybody who has a stake in this together in our decision making. That's what I mean by an open and inclusive process. It's not going to be up to me alone to save the county as the structure puts forward the notion.
We will ask the same question to Mr. Edward Fitzgerald. How will you restore trust, integrity, and efficiency to Cuyahoga County government?
Well, it's a crucial question. I'm going to use the same skills that I have gained through 20 years of public service as a mayor, as a former FBI special agent that investigated these exact same kind of investigation or allegations in other cities, and adopt that and implement it at the county level. First of all, you have to have zero tolerance for any kind of unethical or illegal activity. You shouldn't wait for law enforcement to clean it up. You have to take that as a personal responsibility to set that standard. Secondly, you have to bring in a team of people that share those values. One of the problems with Cuyahoga County government is it has become overwhelmed by patronage and nepotism. It has to be a government system that is based on excellence, merit, openness, and integrity. That's what I would seek to implement as county executive.
Ms. Terry Hamilton Brown, how will you restore trust, integrity, and efficiency to Cuyahoga County government?
We will begin immediately after the election to look to restructure our government in a way that's efficient and eliminates redundancies. But most importantly, we will create a new culture, a culture that is focused on ethical behavior and delivering strong, good services and returning good value to our taxpayers. I know how to do that because I have had experience during my time with CMHA actually leading a public agency that was troubled through change. And we accomplished much during that time. And I believe we can do that here at Cuyahoga County, focusing on open government, involving our citizens in the work of our government.
Mr. Ken Lancy will ask you the same thing. How will you restore trust, integrity, and efficiency to Cuyahoga County government?
Well, Leon, I plan to do that by the way I've done it for over 40 years in turnarounds. You start at the top, you set an example, you create a culture, and you get all the people looking in the same direction. When people understand that the culture that you provide is one that has honest and integrity in it, you can hold them accountable. I have been to over 60 of the agencies already, met with directors, and contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of great agencies that are functioning very well, and their cultures very well. So I'm very sure at this point that I can change the culture in the departments that I've discovered as needing help. So I have no issues about that.
Okay. Mr. Tim McCormick, how would you restore trust, integrity, and efficiency to Cuyahoga County government?
Well, Mr. Bibb, good government and ethics overwhelm all other issues that the county residents are now viewing. I served as the county auditor, and when I was there, the county auditor of Columbus and Cincinnati both went to prison for doing things for friends of theirs that were not legal. I've watched people in Cuyahoga County go to prison while I was a county commissioner. It is incumbent upon every public officer to set a standard so that bad people don't seek you out to do selfish things. That's where it all starts. By reputation, you know those persons that you can approach and who are going to do things that don't comply with the law. We are going to come in, as I did at that point as well in those two offices, bring strong, ethical people, set that standard, and I guarantee you that within 6 months we're going to forget about these last 2 years.
Mr. Don Scipione, if you're elected, how will you restore trust, efficiency, and integrity to Cuyahoga County?
Well, actually, Leon, I started a year ago. I'm the only candidate here who was a leader of Issue 6. I made the choice to get involved when Issue 6 wasn't a bandwagon, but it was a rickety cart. I became its treasurer. I ran the yard sign and the Get Out the Vote campaigns. I spent at least 6 months of my life last year getting issue 6 onto the ballot and making sure that it was voted. And it was voted overwhelmingly. So the people of Cuyahoga County have already stepped forward. They've switched to an accountable form of government. This year, before I announced my candidacy, I was involved in the campaign finance reform work group that's working on the transition. We've come out with 4 major areas of campaign finance reform: electronic reporting, lobbying reform, limits on campaign contributions, severe limits, and finally, we want to promote public campaign financing. Thank you.
Let's go to Victor Voinovich. Mr. Voinovich, how will you restore trust, integrity, and efficiency to Cuyahoga County government?
Leon, thank you very much for having all of us here. This is terrific. This is how we're going to start to build trust, because you're putting it out in the open. We have in our administration what we're calling the Vision 2020 program to change this county for the next over the next 10 years, so that we will be in the top 10 in the nation. And it's going to start with trust. I'm so pleased that your first question had to deal with trust, because that's what we have to restore to this county. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to be transparent, we're going to be inclusive, and we're going to collaborate. We're going to do it out in the open. One of the things that I want to do in my administration is I don't want to have a fixed place to have our meetings. I want them out in the open, around the county, in libraries, in city halls, in other places where people can see us. What we really need to do with the people is get them involved so that they can see us, so that they can believe us. And I'd like to think that we could do it in 6 months, but I'm not sure that's going to be possible. It may take a little longer.
Thank you, Mr. Voinovich. That's round one. We go